What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another Read Aloud by Coach T. Today I'll be reading Miss Nelson is Missing by Harry Allard and James Marshall. The kids in room 207 were misbehaving again. Spitballs stuck to the ceiling, paper planes whizzed through the air. They were the worst behaved class in the whole school. Now, settle down, said Miss Nelson in a sweet voice. But the class will not settle down. Whoa, Nelly, look at my paper airplane go. Ah! They whispered and giggled. 19 plus 2 equals 21. They squirmed and made faces. Oogly boogly, oogly boogly. They were even rude during story hour. Can you please get off of the floor like that? Can't you see that I'm trying to do a handstand? Nobody's worried about story hour. And they always refuse to do their lessons. Something will have to be done, said Miss Nelson. Okay, so you don't want to take this serious. Okay, let's see how you act once your parents find out. The next morning, Miss Nelson did not come to school. Wow, yelled the kids. Just know if you cutting up, your name will be on that list tomorrow. Miss Nelson gonna find out. They began to make more spitballs and paper planes. Today, let's be just terrible, they said. Not so fast, hissed an unpleasant voice. A woman in an ugly black dress stood before them. I am your new teacher, Miss Viola Swamp. And she raked the desk with her ruler. Where is Miss Nelson? Asked the kids. Never mind that, snapped Miss Swamp. Open those arithmetic books. Miss Nelson's kids did as they were told. By the looks of things, Miss Swamp is definitely standing on business. Try me if you want to. Get froggy if you want to. They could see that Miss Swamp was a real witch. She meant business. Now see, kids, this is the problem right here. You have a sweet teacher or a nice teacher. They treat you with respect, and you don't appreciate it. Maybe it's because they're not mean enough. Maybe it's because they don't talk to you a certain type of way. But that doesn't give you the right to act like that. And that is my TED Talk for now. And as you can see, Miss Swamp is definitely standing on business. Right away, she put them to work. 5 plus 2. 6. No, it's 7. Put 7 on the board. If you have 5 chocolate chip cookies and 2 oatmeal raisin, how many does that give you? 7. Put 7 on the board. And she loaded them down with homework. My goodness, I just want to be able to go outside. I can't stand Miss Swamp. What type of name is that? I don't know. I can't stand Miss Swamp. We'll have no story hour today, said Miss Swamp. Keep your mouth shut, said Miss Swamp. Sit perfectly still, said Miss Swamp. And if you misbehave, you'll be sorry, said Miss Swamp. The kids in room 207 had never worked so hard. Days went by, and there was no sign of Miss Nelson. The kids miss Miss Nelson. Ooh, Miss Swamp, by the looks of things, I wouldn't want to be in there either. Your demeanor, you pointing the finger. Ooh, you old school, I tell you that. Maybe we should try to find her, they said. Some of them went to the police. Police, have you seen or heard from Miss Nelson? We need her. We don't want Miss Swamp. Miss Nelson was nice. Miss Swamp, oh my God, she's just downright. Ooh, I can't say that, but that's how I feel. Detective Mick Smog was assigned to the case. He listened to their story. He scratched his chin. He said. I think Miss Nelson is missing. Detective Mick Smog would not be much help. Other kids went to Miss Nelson's house. Oh, yoo-hoo! Yoo-hoo! The shades were tightly drawn, and no one answered the door. In fact, the only person they did see was the wicked Miss Viola Swamp. They're petrified, coming up the street. Of you. If she sees us, she'll give us more homework. Oh, I gotta get out of here right now. They got away just in time. Maybe something terrible happened to Miss Nelson. Maybe she was gobbled up by a shark, said one of the kids. But that didn't seem likely. Dun, 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 dun. Ah! Maybe Miss Nelson went to Mars, said another kid. But that didn't seem likely either. Miss Nelson, are you there? Maybe Miss Nelson went to Mars, said another kid. But that didn't seem likely either.
I know.
Miss Nelson, are you there?
Maybe Miss
Are you at
Nelson's
Mars?
car was
Where
carried
are
off
you?
by a swarm of angry butterflies. But that was the least likely of all. Come on now, tap in. Use your thinking cap. Where could Miss Nelson actually be?
The kids in room 207 became very discouraged. It seemed that Miss Nelson was never coming back, and they will be stuck with Miss Viola's swamp forever. They heard footsteps in the hall. Here comes the witch, they whispered. Hello, children, someone said in a sweet voice. Hey, I know that voice.
It was Miss Nelson. Did you miss me? She asked. We certainly did, cried all the kids. Where were you?
That's my little secret, said Miss Nelson. How about a story hour?
Oh, yes, cried the kids.
Miss Nelson noticed that during story hour, no one was rude or silly. That's right, Miss Swamp got y'all in check. What brought about this lovely change, she asked. That's our little secret, said the kid. You know what's funny? In the beginning, y'all gave Miss Nelson a hard time. Miss Nelson was a sweet teacher. She was kind. But no, you didn't appreciate that. So you had to get Miss Swamp. Miss Swamp was old school, and she didn't play no games. She was definitely standing on business. Now you guys are looking like model scholars. Back home, Miss Nelson took off her coat and hung it in the closet, right next to an ugly black dress. When it was time for bed, she sang a little song. I'll never tell, she said to herself with a smile. Could it be Miss Nelson was Miss Swamp? P.S. Detective McSmog is working on a new case. He is now looking for Miss Viola Swamp. The end.